Welcome back to the Paper Pursuer. I have the next article from for the show notes 1182, and it is from PJ Media. Top Mueller prosecutor says DOJ starting new investigation into Comey, McCabe, and Strzok by Rick Moran, February 15, 2020. An interesting twist is arising from the decision of Attorney General Barr to name an outside counsel, Jeffrey Jensen, to investigate the Michael Flynn case. The former top prosecutor on special counsel Robert Mueller's team says the ploy by Barr is a ruse so that the Department of Justice can open a new investigation into former FBI officials James Comey, Andrew McCabe, and Peter Strzok. Andrew Weissman, a former Justice Department official who was known as Mueller's pitbull during the Russia investigation, says that all they did was swapped out a loser case for starting an investigation that is going to be of Comey, McCabe, and Peter Strzok. Weissman told MSNBC host Chuck Todd Weissman is referring to the loser case of prosecuting former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe for lying about media leaks during the Russia investigation. Washington Examiner. Attorney General William Barr picked Jensen, the top federal prosecutor in St. Louis, to work alongside the Flynn case's lead prosecutor Brandon Van Grack 1 month after the former Trump National Security Advisor filed to withdraw his guilty plea in Mueller's investigation. Weissman, now an NBC News legal analyst, has defended the FBI while raising concerns about Barr, who faced criticism this week after he intervened in the case of Roger Stone, another Trump associate caught up in Mueller's investigation. Barr is also under intense scrutiny for U.S. Attorney John Durham's inquiry into the origins of the Russia investigation, which critics claim is meant to discredit Mueller's work. He said Jensen's appointment was interesting, considering that the judge presiding over the Flynn case rejected claims that Flynn was set up by the FBI after seeing the facts about the underlying investigation. Flynn pleaded guilty in 2017 for lying to investigators about his conversation with the Russian ambassador Sergei Kislyak regarding U.S. sanctions in a United Nations Security Council vote. What I would love to know is what the factual predicate, given that Judge Sullivan has found nothing here. Weissman said, I'm not sure the McCabe matter was a loser case. The Justice Department IG found that McCabe lied and he was fired from his job less than 2 weeks before retirement. He sounds guilty as hell to me, but the Washington two-step saved McCabe from trial. I think Weissman is chasing ghosts. If there is a new investigation into those former FBI officials, Barr's Justice Department would need a ruse to look into them. This is especially true after John Durham's investigation has begun a criminal inquiry into the origins of the Russian scandal. Right smack in the middle of that investigation are Comey and McCabe. That was from PJ Media. Okay, I'm going to pop over to another article. Give everyone a little breather here. Anyway, just cruising right along. So, New York City career criminal thanks Dems for bail reform after his 139th arrest by Team Bongino, posted February 17, 2020. So this is an article from the Bongino shows, the Bongino report. That's what it is. So, hint of humor, bit frustrating. A New York City subway criminal was thankful for Democrats and the ridiculous bail reform initiative after he was immediately released following his 139th arrest. Having been arrested 6 times since the new year began, Charles Berry was released each time without having to post bail due to New York's new bail reform, which eliminates cash bail for 90% of criminal cases, enabling defendants to await trial at home. His latest arrest was Thursday after he jumped a subway turnstile in Penn Station. He repeatedly dressed as an MTA official and robbed people after offering to help them pay and buy their subway tickets, according to police. Sorry about that. There's a little mess up in the writing there. Outside of a New York NYPD headquarters, Berry yelled to reporters, "Bail reform, it's lit. It's the Democrats. The Democrats know me and the Republicans fear me. You can't touch me. I can't be stopped." Fox News points out that in the past, Berry served several stints in state prison and has a lengthy record, including 6 felonies, 87 misdemeanors, and 21 missed court hearings, the newspaper reported, citing court records. "I'm famous. I take $200, $300 a day of your money." Wait, expletive. "You can't stop me," Berry yelled to reporters. "It's a great thing. It's a beautiful thing. They punked people out for BS crimes." Fox News writes, after his most recent arrest Thursday, Berry was held in custody for about 36 hours until a Saturday morning arraignment hearing in his Manhattan criminal court. He was then released before trial without paying bail. He had 2 warrants out for his arrest for missing court dates related to past alleged subway theft. Come on, people. My words there, including one instance in January where he allegedly snatched a $50 bill out of a woman's hand while she was trying to buy a Metro card at a Bryant Park station machine. Oh my gosh, seriously. All right, I'm going to interject a little bit. What the heck is going on, people? Oh, I shouldn't laugh about it, but it's so ridiculous. Okay, last article from episode 1182 comes from the Mrs. Institute. Swedish ex-prime minister rebukes Bernie, socialism only destroys, by Alice Salles on, this is a little bit older one. It's on March 4th, 2019. Socialism never stopped enticing young American minds, but the more democratic socialists such as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez open their mouths, we learn the movement's most vocal proponents simply ignore socialism's incompatibility with democracy, as demonstrated by Austrian economist Ludwig von Mises. In A Critique of Interventionism, Senator Bernie Sanders is one of them. With the Vermont senator announcing he's running for president, his past comments defending socialism in socialist countries, notorious for their failures, become the type of material critics are eager to dissect, especially because he still calls himself a democratic socialist while using Nordic countries as examples of what he defends. Thankfully, political figures from the very countries the good senator from Vermont calls socialist are here to remind him that the ideology is nothing but a trap. Prime Minister of Sweden from 1991 to 1994, Carl Bildt, took to Twitter to warn Sanders that socialism is not the key to creating a great society as he and Ocasio-Cortez seem to think. After old footage showing Sanders and his wife Jane praising the Soviet Union for its programs targeting the youth went viral online, Bildt responded by saying, Sanders was lucky to be able to get to the Soviet Union in 1988 and praise all its stunning socialist achievements before the entire system and empire collapsed under the weight of its own spectacular failures. To the former prime minister, the damage socialism can cause is still fresh in his memory. After all, he was the first prime minister in 60 years not to subscribe to the ideology, and thanks to him, Sweden's capital gains taxes were cut to 30% and corporate taxes to 28%. Bildt also privatized several state-owned industries, deregulated multiple sectors of the economy, allowed people to invest portions of their pension, and introduced school choice policies, improving the country's education system. After Bildt, Sweden, which had completely lost its host of entrepreneurs thanks to business taxes and that sometimes exceeded the 100% mark. All right, here's my words. How can that even be possible? All right, back to the article. Sometimes exceeded the 100% mark, once again flourished, even as Social Democrat successor Ingvar Carlsson took over. Seeing the wonderful changes just a few years' worth of reform had done, Carlsson kept Bildt's policies in place, and business startups rose nearly 25% as a result. Unfortunately, politicians like Sanders like to use countries like Sweden as examples of how socialism can work. The same politician who, in the late 1980s, praised breadlines and celebrated the Soviet Union for forcing its youth to dedicate their whole lives to communism, now tells Americans that the so-called Nordic model of socialism can and will work in America. And yet, he seems clueless to the fact that the policies he pushes don't mirror those adopted by the countries he celebrates. As explained by Danish Prime Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen in 2015, countries like his Denmark are far from socialist planned economies. Denmark is a market economy, he added, and as demonstrated by Mises in economic policy, thoughts for today and tomorrow, there's no Western capitalistic country in which the conditions of the masses have not been improved in an unprecedented way. In other words, to claim the successes of Nordic countries are due to socialism is nothing but a lie. As the Action Institute pointed out, Sanders' ideology, the same ideology upheld by Ocasio-Cortez and countless others who are now legislating in Washington, D.C., is about putting statism before freedom. In order to apply the policies they push, we would have to relinquish complete control over our lives, allowing the state to squelch artistic expression, private initiative, and destroy any incentive left, compelling people to serve each other better and more efficiently. Is that the world we want to live in? I would say no. That article was, once again, from the Mrs. Institute. And that's all of the articles from episode 1182. Thanks for listening, guys.